Tonight, let us travel together, softly, gently, to a place both familiar and distant. A place of whispered legends, painted walls, and long-forgotten footsteps. We're going to spend one night, only one, inside the forbidden city of Old Beijing. Now, you do not need to remember what I say. You do not need to follow every detail. This story is not here to test your memory. It is here simply to keep you company, to fill the silence of the night with a calm, drifting voice, until sleep takes over in its own time. So, allow yourself to relax. If your eyes grow heavy, let them close. If your mind wanders, that is perfectly fine. You may drift in and out of this story, and when you wake again, the Forbidden City will still be here, waiting quietly, just as it has for centuries. The Forbidden City, a name that once carried power, mystery, and fear. It was not truly forbidden in the sense of secrets, but rather it was restricted, closed off, reserved for the Son of Heaven. The Emperor of China, his family, his officials, and his endless attendants. Behind its massive red walls and golden roofs lay a world of order and ritual, a city within a city, where every step, every gesture was measured and observed. And yet tonight, we're not here for ceremonies. We're not here for history books or political intrigues. We are here for something much quieter, to see the Forbidden City at rest. In the hush of night, the year does not matter. It could be the Ming Dynasty or the Qing Dynasty. The palace has stood for centuries, unchanging in its bones, welcoming one emperor after another, watching dynasties rise and fall. And just as it stood then, so it stands for us tonight. The day has ended. The officials have gone home. The great halls stand silent, their echoes fading. The court musicians have set aside their instruments. The kitchens, once so busy, are now quiet, the last wisp of smoke fading into the cold night air. Lanterns flicker in the distance. A few footsteps sound against the stone pathways. But mostly, there is silence. So let us begin here, at the edge of the great palace walls. Let's take a slow, unhurried walk through its gates, into the vast courtyards and chambers, and spend a single night inside the Forbidden City. We stand before the great walls. They rise high above us, painted in deep, solemn red. By day, these walls glow with sunlight. But now, under the pale watch of the moon, they appear darker, heavier, as though guarding their secrets even more closely. The stones are cool to the touch. If you place your hand against them, you can feel the centuries embedded there. A stillness that has seen emperors come and go, generals, ministers, concubines, and servants, each leaving only the faintest trace, like dust carried away by the wind. Ahead, the great Meridian Gate towers above the night. Its roofline sweeps upward, golden tiles glinting faintly, catching the moonlight in a soft shimmer. 2 lanterns burn at its entrance. Their flames flicker against the carved wood, casting long, shifting shadows across the massive doors. The air smells faintly of smoke from the torches, and of pine wood carried on the cool evening breeze. Beyond the gate lies silence. It is the silence of thousands of empty rooms, of courtyards wide enough to hold whole armies, now resting beneath the stars. 2 guards stand watch. They wear long robes of dark blue, their hands resting on the shafts of their spears. They do not speak. They barely move. Only the faint plume of their breath in the cold night air shows that they're alive at all. Slowly, the doors open. They would groan softly, as though the palace itself sighs at being disturbed. We step forward, our footsteps muffled against the vast stone paving. Inside, the world feels even more hushed. The tall walls surround us, cutting off the city beyond. Here, there's no market noise, no clatter of hooves, no cries of street vendors, only the creak of wood, the flutter of banners in the faint wind, and the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. The first courtyard stretches out endlessly, is so wide, so open, that even in the darkness, you feel the weight of its emptiness. The stones beneath your feet are worn smooth by centuries of passage. But tonight they are empty. The emperor sleeps. The ministers sleep. The palace, too, is resting. A lantern sways gently from the eaves of a nearby gate. Its light spills onto the stone steps, drawing a soft circle of gold on the ground. A cat appears for just a moment, its eyes glinting in the dark, before it disappears again into the shadows. Above us, the roofs climb toward the sky, their edges curled like the tips of waves. Carved beasts stand guard along the ridges, frozen in mid-stride. Dragons, phoenixes, lions, symbols of power, watching endlessly through the centuries. The air is cool here. It settles around us like a gentle cloak, quiet, patient, inviting us deeper into the palace. We walk slowly, our steps echoing softly between the walls. The silence is not empty, but full of the weight of time, of ceremonies long finished, of voices that still seem to linger, whispering faintly through the corridors of memory. And so we enter the Forbidden City, not in the blaze of daylight, not with the pomp of ceremony, but in the soft, forgotten hours of the night, when the palace belongs only to itself. The first courtyard opens into another, and then another, each one larger than the last, as though the palace unfolds in endless layers of stone and silence. Under the moon, the marble paving glows pale. It stretches outward in wide, even lines, each stone set by hands long gone, each one carrying the faint memory of processions, of drums and banners, of footsteps measured in rhythm. But tonight, there are no processions, only us, and the stillness of the air. The great halls rise at the far ends of these courtyards. Their roofs are layered with golden tiles, so many that even the faintest light finds them and turns them into quiet ripples of brightness. The ridges curve upward, lifting toward the heavens, as though the buildings themselves wish to breathe the air of eternity. From where we stand, the Hall of Supreme Harmony looms in silence. By day, it is the most important hall of all, where emperors sat upon their throne, where edicts were read, and where the empire itself seemed to gather in one place. But tonight, it is empty. The great throne waits in darkness. The lacquered columns, painted red and carved with dragons, stand like silent guardians, their colors muted in the shadows. The courtyards between the halls are so vast that our footsteps echo faintly. Lost in the open air, the wind drifts gently across the stone, stirring the hems of forgotten banners, making the lantern light tremble. From somewhere in the distance, a faint splash of water is heard, perhaps from a small pond, or from a fountain trickling quietly. In a secluded corner of the palace grounds is a soft, soothing sound, the kind that makes time feel slower, more patient, as though the night itself is stretching out, unhurried, eternal. We pause for a moment and look upward. The sky above Beijing is deep and clear, studded with stars. They shine faintly above the golden rooftops, their light crossing centuries, falling gently upon the very stones where we now stand. It is easy to imagine that emperors, scholars, servants all once looked upon this very same sky, feeling perhaps the same quiet wonder. The halls are closed now. Their heavy doors are drawn shut, sealed with iron bolts, but the doors do not hide their presence. You can almost sense the weight of what lies inside. Silk scrolls stacked neatly on tables, lacquered chests holding ceremonial robes, gilded screens painted with mountains and rivers, waiting for morning. Between the courtyards, stone bridges arc gently over small canals. Their balustrades are carved with dragons and clouds, their surfaces polished smooth by countless footsteps. We cross one now, our steps soft against the stone, our reflection trailing faintly in the dark water below. Everywhere, there is a sense of symmetry, of balance. The courtyards line up one after another, the halls facing each other in perfect order. It is not accidental. It is deliberate, a reflection of the harmony the emperors wished to bring to their empire. And though the empire itself changed, though dynasties fell and new ones rose, the palace remains, its harmony unbroken, its silence steady. We walk deeper, passing yet another courtyard, Another hall, each one more majestic than the last. The lanterns burn lower now, their flames small and steady, their lights soft as a sigh. The forbidden city sleeps, but it does not sleep like we do. Its slumber is watchful, its silence alive. Every stone, every beam of wood seems to hold a memory, a quiet story folded into the fabric of the night. And as we move from courtyard to courtyard, we too become part of that silence. Our footsteps, one more whisper, in the endless dream of the forbidden city. Though the great halls stand silent, the palace is not entirely still. Life continues here, in small, hushed movements. A servant walks slowly across the courtyard, his lantern swaying from a bamboo pole. The circle of light around him drifts across the paving stones, then fades again into shadow. He is carrying hot water for the night guard, his footsteps careful, his robe brushing softly against the ground. In the kitchens, far to the side, a few embers still glow in the great stoves. The fires that cooked for thousands have gone out, but one pot simmers gently, keeping warm broth ready for whoever must stay awake. The smell of ginger and scallions lingers in the air, a reminder of the day's labors. A pair of eunuchs pass us, their voices low, discussing some small duty. They wear long, dark robes, their hands hidden in wide sleeves. One carries a bundle of silk cloth, the other a tray of small candles. They bow as they walk, their eyes lowered, disappearing quickly into a side passage. Somewhere, a door slides open with a faint creak. Inside a chamber, an elderly maid places a lamp on a lacquered stand. Its flame flickers against carved wood and silk draperies, casting warm light over a row of folded robes. She adjusts them carefully, straightening each one with deliberate precision, before quietly withdrawing into the corridor. The palace has its own rhythm at night. The emperor sleeps in his chamber, and the empress in hers. But the servants, the attendants, the guards, they remain awake. They move quietly from hall to hall, checking doors, tending lamps, ensuring that the order of the palace remains unbroken even while the world outside dreams. From the western wing, a faint rustle of laughter carries on the breeze. Perhaps it is the younger attendants, finishing their duties a little late, finding a moment to whisper and share a joke, before quickly falling silent again. Even here, in this world of formality and ritual, human voices still find a way to soften the edges of the night. A night patrol passes, for guards in simple armor, their boots tapping gently on the stone. They carry lanterns and spears, their eyes scanning the shadows, their faces expressionless. One coughs quietly, the sound echoing faintly through the courtyard. Before they continue on, swallowed by the dark. In the distance, a bell sounds softly, not a loud gong, but a small bronze bell, marking the turning of the hours. The palace breathes with it, time moving slowly, as measured here as in the great world outside. Above all these movements, there's a feeling of watchfulness. The Forbidden City does not truly sleep. It dozes, perhaps, but always with one eye open, always aware of the endless duties that bind it together. And as we wander quietly among these halls, we become part of this rhythm, slow, steady, like the soft footsteps of servants in the dark, like the low murmur of voices fading into silence. Beyond the vast courtyards and echoing halls, we step into the quieter, smaller world of the palace's inner chambers. Here, the pace slows even more. The air feels warmer, softer, as if the walls themselves are wrapped in silk and whispered secrets. A long corridor stretches before us, lined with carved screens and delicate lanterns. The lanterns glow softly, casting amber light on the polished floors. Shadows move gently across the walls, swimming slowly like the quiet waves of a distant pond. We enter the Empress's quarters. The door slides, open with barely a sound, and we are greeted by the faint scent of sandalwood and jasmine. Silk draperies hang along the walls, folded and tied in precise, careful patterns. The colors are muted in the soft lamplight. Deep reds, pale golds, soft blues. each one chosen to calm the eyes and the mind. A low table sits in the corner, its surface covered with scrolls and inkstones. Perhaps a poem has been written here today, the brush now resting beside the ink, its strokes frozen in quiet perfection. A small vase holds a single branch of plum blossoms, its petals white and delicate, bending slightly as though nodding in the still air. The Empress herself sleeps beyond another screen, her presence felt but unseen. Her breath is even slow, rising and falling in the soft shadows. The room hums with the care of those who tend it. Maids arranging cushions, servants folding robes. A quiet footstep here, the faint rustle of silk there. A fan lies on a small lacquered stand, its paper painted with mountains and rivers. It is closed now, waiting for the morning breeze, when perhaps it will be picked up again, softly fluttering against a warm hand. Jewels and ornaments rest on velvet cushions. Jade pendants, delicate hairpins, tiny gold figurines, all placed with meticulous care, shining faintly in the lamplight. They are not for display tonight, but reminders of a world of order, beauty, and ritual. A narrow corridor leads to another room, the Emperor's private study. Here, maps and scrolls lie rolled upon tables. Brushes and inkstones await the touch of a hand. Candles burn low, casting long shadows across the pages. Outside, the palace is quiet, but here, knowledge and history seem to linger, like soft ghosts waiting for morning. Even the smallest details are attended to. A cup of tea, left to cool, sends a thin trail of steam upward. A cushion, once used, is smoothed and replaced. Every corner, every surface, bears the imprint of care, patience, and endless repetition. And though we move softly, almost invisible, we sense the rhythm of this private world. The Empress sleeps. The Emperor sleeps. But life continues in whispers and shadows. Gentle, slow, unnoticed. A perfect lullaby for those who wander quietly through the night. Here, in the private chambers of the Forbidden City, we feel the palace as it truly is. Alive, but at rest. A heartbeat beneath the red walls. Measured, patient, eternal. The hours pass slowly. The moon climbs higher in the sky, casting a pale silver glow over the rooftops. The red walls of the Forbidden City seem darker now, their edges softened by shadow, their lines blurred into quiet shapes that rise and fall like distant hills. The courtyards are empty. No footsteps echo here anymore. Only the soft rustle of leaves from the hidden gardens, and the faint, steady drip of water from a distant fountain. The sound is so gentle, so regular, that it feels like the palace itself is breathing. In and out, slow and unhurried, timeless. The guards have found their rhythm. They patrol quietly, their lanterns casting long, wandering shadows. Sometimes a horse shifts in its stall, a low whinny carried faintly across the grounds. A breeze stirs the eaves, and with it comes the distant scent of pine, tinged with the coolness of night air. Inside the halls, the scrolls lie waiting. A scholar's unfinished poem rests on a low table, its ink dry but full of thought. An official's records are stacked neatly in a corner, to be read in the morning light. The palace is full of stories, of work done and work paused, all held quietly in the shadows. The Empress sleeps still, her chest rising and falling gently. A single candle flickers beside her, its light dancing across the silk draperies, casting slow-moving shadows on the walls. Even the most delicate of ornaments, a jade hairpin, a small gold figurine, rests in stillness, catching the faint glow and holding it, as if waiting for the dawn. Outside, the sounds of nature drift through the palace. Owls call from the distant woods, their voices soft and irregular. Crickets hum, a gentle, constant vibration that seems to connect the city to the world beyond its walls. Every sound is measured, gentle, like the night itself is humming a quiet lullaby. We move through a side corridor now, passing a small garden. The trees are dark silhouettes, their branches brushing against one another softly. A A stone path winds between them, leading to a tiny pavilion where water ripples quietly in a small pond. The reflection of the moon shimmers across the surface, folding the world into itself, making it feel both distant and near at the same time. The palace is alive in subtle ways. A faint shuffle of footsteps here, a whispered closing of a door there. Everything is deliberate, measured, patient. Even as the world sleeps, the palace maintains its quiet vigilance, its endless care for its inhabitants, its rituals, its objects, its very walls. And in this stillness, we feel a part of it too. Our breathing slows. Our mind drifts lightly across the marble courtyards, along the lantern-lit corridors, into the private chambers, and out again to the silent gardens. We are small and quiet here, yet somehow perfectly placed in the heartbeat of the palace. The night deepens further. The moon moves slowly across the sky, casting ever-shifting shadows on the golden roofs. Even the lanterns seem to lean towards sleep, their flames softening, flickering ever more slowly. The palace, ancient and vast, breathes in time with the night, and we, wandering quietly in its silence, are invited to do the same, to pause, to listen, to drift softly towards sleep. The first hints of dawn are still far away. The moon hangs low in the sky, silver and patient, watching over the quiet city within the red walls. The lanterns flicker softly, their light fading slowly, as if even they are ready to rest. The guards have settled in their posts. The servants, the eunuchs, have finished their rounds and retreated to the corners of the palace. Even the faintest sounds have grown distant, leaving only the soft hum of the world at night. We pause one last time in a wide courtyard. The marble stones gleam faintly, the shadows long and still. The golden roofs of the halls shimmer in the dim light, their shapes both grand and comforting. Every detail we have seen tonight, every lantern, every screen, every quiet step, is now folded gently into the memory of the palace. Take a deep breath. Let your body sink into stillness. Just as the forbidden city has sunk into the calm of night, the walls, the halls, the gardens, all are at rest, waiting patiently for the morning. And so are we, in our own way. The palace has seen centuries pass, dynasties rise and fall, but tonight it belongs only to silence, to shadow, to quiet. We are visitors here, wandering gently, and soon we will drift away with it. As we step softly toward the gates, we carry only the peace of the night with us. The world outside may be waking or still asleep, but for a few hours, we have shared the secret, the heartbeat of the forbidden city, slow, steady, eternal. Now, let's take our final steps. The doors of the palace close gently behind us, the echoes fading into the stillness. The lanterns sway in the breeze one last time, and then they too settle into quiet. And as we leave, we carry the calm of the night with us. The city sleeps, the palace sleeps, and you can sleep too. Good night.